Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. Many people who are concerned about climate change have a belief that this is what Earth used to be like. They believe the weather was very pleasant and nature lived in harmony when carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere were lower. They say it would be climate justice for us to eliminate the use of fossil fuels. So let's take a look at what they believe was the pleasant climate of 1931. Los Angeles Times, September 18, 1931. The world groaned with weather complaints this summer. America had drought and extraordinary heat waves. England had the coldest, wettest summer weather within living memory. Southeast Central Europe experienced late spring and a June so hot schools had to be closed prematurely. During the summer of 1931, China had the deadliest flood in human history. Millions of people died. 50,000 square miles of China was underwater. 12 million homes have been destroyed by the calamity, and 55 million people are affected, at least 1/5 of whom are utterly destitute. The flooded area was 1.5 times the area of the entire state of New York. And the flooded area was larger than England and Wales combined. It's estimated that 4 million people died in the 1931 Chinese flood. People in Australia and the United States were starving from the heat and drought. February 20th, 1931. Drought relief by Red Cross greater than given in any previous disaster. Most of the United States was in drought. Viruses and heat killed a lot of people in West Australia during 1931. December 9th, 1931. Perth. 72 burials in 3 days of this week reveal the heavy toll which the heat wave and the influenza outbreak is taking in the metropolitan area. During 1931, 93% of the United States reached 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius sometime during the year. Since the 1930s, the area of the United States getting up to 95 degrees sometime during the summer has sharply declined. The frequency of hot afternoons has also sharply declined, with 1931 being the fourth hottest year after 1936, 1934, and 1954. 1931 was one of only 2 years in the United States when more than 50 million acres was burned by fire. Burn acreage in the United States is down more than 80% since 1931. As carbon dioxide levels have increased in the atmosphere, burn acreage in the United States has sharply decreased. The aerial coverage of hot weather in the United States has also sharply decreased as carbon dioxide has increased. The frequency of hot days in the United States has sharply decreased as carbon dioxide has increased over the past century. In 1931, almost the entire United States reached 100 degrees Fahrenheit sometime during the year. But now, 100-degree temperatures in the eastern half of the United States are very rare. The U.S. government used to know about the heat of the 1930s. This was the NASA U.S. temperature graph in 1999, which showed 1934 as being the hottest year on record. Second hottest was 1921, and third hottest was 1931. But the U.S. government has since erased the heat of the 1930s and turned this cooling trend into a warming trend. Now they show warming, but 20 years ago NASA showed cooling. Politics has always been at war against science. In 1931, 100 German scientists wrote a pamphlet attacking Albert Einstein. It wasn't that there was anything wrong with his science, the problem was that this was Germany and Albert Einstein was a Jew. Einstein responded, "Why 100? If I were wrong, one would have been enough." Government still uses the same consensus arguments to push their lies. But there was some good climate science going on in the year 1931. Professor Baumgart of the Royal Astronomical Society and the American National Geographical Society said that the climate was controlled by the sun. He showed that there was a connection between the sun's condition and major weather changes, which vitally affect world crops, prolonged droughts, heat, and cold waves. It's unfortunate that since then, National Geographic has been taken over by climate scamsters. Instead, they're pushing the carbon dioxide scam, which shows no correlation with anything. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on junk science for 15 years. You can visit him, Kyrie Caesar, Toki Upala, and the 4 new puppies on the web at realclimatescience.com.